Good night, everybody. I still had to come on here and do my live day 9 in a row. Things, in between doing my hair. Somebody come rescue me. I need somebody to come and flat iron all of this for me. Can somebody come and rescue me? I need rescuing right now. I don't know. I don't feel like doing it, but I'm gonna go ahead and get this done. But I'm gonna talk about a few things. Talk about living in Memphis. Talk about some interest rates, what a pre-approval is, and also how you can negotiate credit card debt. Yes, fun. So if you don't know me, my name is Toria Howard, originally from Detroit, Michigan. Now residing in Memphis, Tennessee, where I am a realtor. And I have a real estate investment company, Squizzy Dreams Properties, where I'm a founder and CEO. And I'm also in a commercial loan brokering space where I help people invest in real estate and other commercial products. And I am also a credit restoration financial solutions consultant. I got tongue tied for a second. So, talking about it, right? Let's talk about it. So, I didn't pull this up, but I'm about to. I always give you an update of what's going on in Memphis as far as the how many houses are sold and what's on the market first. So let's start there. Let's see what's going on. So in the past 7 days, what do we have here? So in the past 7 days, sorry, I gotta move this around. We have had 211 new listings. So 246 houses have been sold, and you got 152 houses being. Let me turn my Wi-Fi off. I don't know what's going on with that. Maybe come on, Instagram. There we go. So like I said, new homes is 211 new homes on the market. So slightly down from previous weeks. Well, from last week. Because last week, I remember I said something about that. Last week we had 248 new listings. So the listings that went down a bit. So some of them properties probably have been sold or just less people are putting their homes on the market. And then you have 246 sold from the last 7 days versus 238. So see what I'm saying? So a lot of those houses that were in that 246 range that's down to 211 is probably now in the sold or the pending column. Because pending we had 199, so those were closed. That probably added to the sold. And then you have 152 still pending. So that pending meaning that they are ready to go to the closing table. So contingencies are done. They're ready to go to the closing table. So, talking about living in Memphis. So, we find this article that I found. Where did it go? Here we go. So, according to Home Snacks, the 10 best neighborhoods in Memphis for 2022. Anybody can guess? Anybody know? 10 best. This article was written April 6, 2022. So, number one was I'm gonna start from the bottom up. Bottom up. So I'm gonna start with number 10. Whitehaven Coral Lake was number 10 as one of the best neighborhoods in Memphis for 2022. Are you surprised? Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. But Whitehaven Coral Lake was the best number 10 on the list. It's moving slow now. Don't worry about it. So number 9, up and coming, is Berkeley Highland Heights. So the Berkeley area is a very interesting neighborhood. They have blocks over there. They have like whole blocks of just duplexes and different things. So they're moving along in their neighborhood. So if you own a home in Berkeley, make sure you keep it because the values are going to continue to rise. Number 8, surprisingly, I didn't think this was going to be that low, but Midtown. Midtown was number 8 on the list. A lot of people like living in Midtown because of the walkability and the things that you can do in Midtown. Everything is close, you have bars and restaurants and things. So a lot of people like living in Midtown. And then number 7 is Raleigh. Now Raleigh is up and coming. The home values have skyrocketed. They're gentrifying it, unfortunately. So if you own a home in Raleigh, you better keep it because your home value is going to continue to rise. And number 6 is Hickory Ridge, South Riverdale homes. So if you have a home over there, that is number 6 on the list. And number 5 is East Memphis, Colonial Yorkshire. So that's 38117 area, Oak Court Mall area over there. I like houses over there because you have a a variety of houses over there. You have small houses and you got some huge houses over there. But your values have always been steady over there though. So if you own a home over there, you better keep it. River Oaks, number 4 is River Oaks Kirby Balmoral. That is number 4. Number 3 is Eads, Fisherville Homes. A lot of people are buying land out there. And I just visited Eads today. And they have some big, beautiful homes out there with a lot of land. So if you're looking for land, Eads is not that far from Memphis. So you'll still be able to get to the city and different things like that. And then number 2, Cordova Appling area. That's traditionally where I live in my neighborhood. Is number 2. And then number 1 is Windike Southwind. So those are the top best neighborhoods for 2022 from 1 to 10. So number 10 was Whitehaven, Coral Lakes. Number 9 was Berkeley, Highland Heights. Number 8, Midtown. Number 7, Raleigh. Number 6, Hickory Ridge, South Riverdale. Number 5 was East Memphis, Colonial Yorkshire. 4 was River Oaks, Kirby Memorial. 3 was Eads, Fisherville. 2 was Cordova Appling. And then number 1, so if you live in Southwind, you're winning, Windike Southwind. So those were the best neighborhoods so far for 2022. I was trying to let it go. Here we go. So if you live in Windike, the Windike Southland area, your medium home price is $275,875. So meaning that's where the values are usually in that area. So almost $300,000, and crime rate is a little low, 2.8. And then I don't think this is correct. Well, this is my opinion. But Cordova Appling has a medium home price of $143,825. I haven't seen a house that cheap in this area. So I don't know where they're getting that from. It's not for me. Let's check out Eads. Eads, medium home price $197,233. So that's pretty average right now. But you get a lot of land in that area too. So the River Oaks Kirby Memorial is $169,116. So crime rate is not that bad. And then the East Memphis Colonial, it's not right. I'm gonna stop reading that. This is incorrect. This cannot be right because I know for a fact those houses, even the ones that only have one bathroom, is going over 200,000. So let's talk about the interest rates right now when you're purchasing a home. Let me find it. Here we go. So, like I said, credit is king. So the higher your credit score, the lower your interest rates on everything. So if you have a 740 and above, it doesn't matter. Your interest rate is going to be the same. So as long as you have a 740 and above, you're going to still be in that same range. So right now, if you have a 740 to a 740 or above, the average interest rate right now nationwide is 5.22%, which is still lower. It's not as low as 0 and 2% like we were in the beginning of the pandemic. No, but it's still lower than when I bought my house. So I had like a 9% interest rate. So my credit score was pretty good at the time. So it doesn't matter. Like I said, if you have a 740 or an 850, 522 is going to be your credit, is going to be your interest rate. So just be mindful of that. And if you go down, if you go to 720, The 720 to 739 interest rate is 5.32. Go down to 700 to 719 is 5.5% interest rate right now to purchase a home. You go down to 680 to 699, you have a 5.8 to 1. You go down to a 660 to a 679 is 6.46. Now let's go back and revisit that. You go from 680, which is B credit. 680 is B credit. Okay. 680 is 699 is 5.8. But when you go down to 660 to 679, just 1 point, 660 to 679, your interest rate is 6.466. Credit is king. So you go down to 640 to 659, it's 6.6. So the higher your credit score, the more money you're going to save in the end. So work on getting your credit score as high as possible before you purchase your home. So talking about a pre-approval, if you don't know what a pre-approval is, when you're starting a home buying process, of course it's going to be exciting. Everybody is pumped up, but you have to go get that pre-approval. In order for you to be able to know how much you're shopping for, you have to get that pre-approval. So you can't just go out and just look at homes and then don't know how much you can afford, because either one or two things: either you're going to be showing houses that are under what you can afford, and you're not going to like them, or you're going to be looking at houses that are above your price range, and you're going to be disappointed when you find out what it is. So it's always good to go get that pre-approval first before you start looking for a home, so you won't be disappointed and you know what you need to do next. So that step is so critical, especially if it's a competitive market. So to get pre-approved, you must meet with a lender. A lender will look at the factors such as your credit score, debt to income. Debt to income is a really huge factor as far as the amount of house that you can afford. The higher your debt, the lower amount they're going to lend you, because you look like a risky borrower. So you need to make sure that your debt to income ratio is, as low as possible. You're going to look at your income, your employee history to determine how much you qualify for. They're also going to look at your bank statements, and the employment history is key. So you need to make sure that you're staying. A lot of people get it misconstrued. It's not staying on the same job for 2 years. You have to stay in the same industry for 2 years. So if you've been a truck driver and you switch jobs, within the 2-year period, you're still eligible to purchase a home because you stay in the same industry. Now, if you went from truck driving to manager of the restaurant, then you're going to have to wait 2 years to be a manager at the restaurant to get that there, to get the lending. So basically, we go get the pre-approval. It gives you the price range in which you're going to be approved for. When you find a home you love, you have your pre-approval letter. And you can show sellers that you're serious about buying. When I put in an offer, I have to put the pre-approval letter or the underwritten letter that loan is going to go through. There's no if ands. I cannot send an offer without a pre-approval or it already be underwritten. A lot of real estate agents now are going ahead and getting the underwriting process already done, so then there won't be any mishaps once you find a home. You could close quicker. I'm talking about probably 14 to 21 days instead of 30, because they got to go into underwriting and all of that, because you still have 10 days for the inspection period, and then you have to have the appraisal. So you could be in your home in 21 days if you have the right real estate agent and the right lender. So make sure that you're asking the right questions. When you're talking about going to a lender, ask them the right questions. Ask them how responsive they are when it comes to, putting in your paperwork. What are their qualifications for getting the best loan possible? What is the best loan possible? What does my credit score have to be? How quickly do you fund, the mortgage deals? And then most importantly, basically, how many loans have they funded this year? You need to know that. If they haven't funded a lot of loans, that means they might be either inexperienced, because a lot of people are not. You don't want to get with somebody that's experienced and that's doing the loans and doing things that you want. So if you have any questions about real estate, that was my segment on real estate. If you missed it, go back and watch the replay. And I forgot to say this: if you are watching this live, drop a 1 in the chat. If you're watching, if you're new to my live, drop a 2 in the chat. And if you're watching a replay, drop a 3. And I would love for you to like, comment, share, because I hope, give me some comments. I hope that this is good information. I'm on day 9 of 21 doing my challenge. So let's talk about a way for you to be able to negotiate your credit card debt. Did you know that you can negotiate your credit card debt? You can. You can do it. And I'm going to show you how. So, how do you do it? If you're facing financial challenges and it seems impossible for paying off your credit cards, it's always best to communicate with the credit card companies first and foremost. Before you go in there, starting to negotiate and all of that, make sure that you are communicating with them and letting them know what's going on with your situation. They might be able to prolong your due date, might be able to waive a late fee, something like that. Also, know when they are reporting to the credit bureau so you'll know when to pay your bill. You need to pay your bill during the billing cycle and not on your due date, because sometimes your due date might be after they report to the credit bureau. So every credit card company has a statement. It's a cycle date. It's on either the top or the bottom, or somewhere on your statement that tells you that this bill is from this date to this date. So for example, if your billing cycle is from June 1st to July 1st, but you have hi Kenny, but your credit card payment is due on the 5th. That means they're reporting on July 1st. So that means if you don't pay your credit card to July 5th, you've missed that reporting date, and that whatever balance you're carrying is going to be reported to the credit card companies. So you need to make sure that you understand what your cycle date is. Let me say it again. Make sure that you understand what your cycle date is. You want to have that balance paid off before they report it to the credit bureaus. So like I said, if it's June 1st to July 1st and you don't have to pay your credit card bill to July 8th, you missed the mark. So make sure that you know and understand your cycle date. Pay within those parameters, within those dates. Make 2 payments. You can split it up, because interest accrues daily. Sometimes it's weekly, but most likely it's probably daily. So you really essentially want to pay something on it every week to kind of beat that interest rate, because it's compounding daily. But find out how it's compounding with the credit cards that you have. So understand why you need credit card companies to negotiate, right? So if you are negotiating with the credit card companies, they're motivated to do so because they want their money, they want to get paid. So many of them are owned by banks, so they have several priorities. The first is to generate profit for the parent company and its shareholders. When it becomes evident that someone may not be able to pay his or her balance, a shift in the credit card company's priorities happens to, that can, work to your advantage in a little bit, So the bank or the credit card company becomes concerned, which, you're getting a lot of restrictions on your account, they're not getting paid. So to avoid charging it off, the entire amount, because they don't want to really charge it off or take it to collections or whatever, I just found this out. When they do charge offs and all of that, it drops their stock price. So they don't want to do a charge off. They want you to negotiate with you with that balance. So before you get to that part of it, this is what they are looking for. They're looking to increase the value of the company. So they don't want the stock price to fall. They don't want management to lose their bonuses or dividends to the shareholders. So, absent of some sort of set of certain, a bankruptcy filing would be the worst case scenario for a credit card company because it stands to lose everything it has extended to you. Now, a bankruptcy might be a temporary fix right now, but let me tell you, if you file bankruptcy, you have to wait 2 years in order for you to get anything else. It might have wiped your debt off. You might, and some people, when they file bankruptcy, they lose so many accounts that their credit score tanks, and you got to build from a 4 and 500. I filed bankruptcy 3 times, so I know. I had a lot of debt on my back, so they don't want you to file bankruptcy. So they're gonna work with you. So know your options of the negotiation. So what are your options when you talk about negotiating with the credit card companies? You're talking about lump sum payment agreements. So they'll tell you to pay. You say you learned a good lesson from that. I know. Um, they'll give you a certain amount that they'll take 25% off, whatever. Always start at the top. I only can pay 50%. Your goal is to get them to like 30%. That's the goal. But start like I only can pay 50%. And you'll be like, nah, I only got 50%. If you keep They'll keep going up and up and up, and then until you reach that number, that magic number. So start at 50. When you call the credit card companies and you talk about a lump sum payment, tell them I only can pay 50%. That's all I have. And they'll continue to negotiate with you because they want that balance paid. Work out an agreement. Maybe lower your interest rate. So a lot of them don't do that though. Because I've tried to do that even when my credit cards were not maxed out or whatever the case may be. A lot of them don't like to lower your interest rate because they make more money off of you. So that's why you transfer it to another. That's why you get your balances down and transfer it to another lower interest credit card. That's what my dad used to do all the time. So you might be able to get a hardship payment agreement. So that's a good option if you're having trouble paying your credit cards due to illness, job loss, natural disaster, any other temporary hardships. You may be able to arrange a lower minimum payment, interest rate, or fees, and or sometimes they'll even suspend the payments without penalty for a limited period of time. So not every credit card company does that, but you can. And be persistent and document everything. You have to document everything. Everything has to be in writing. Do not take a verbal agreement. When you're talking to the credit card companies on the phone, you need to either have them send the agreement through email, PDF, or some type of tell them to send it in the mail if they have to, if you don't have any of those functions. But whatever you negotiate with them, you have to put it in writing. Because if you go and you say, well, when I called Susie said that I can, yeah, they recorded, but all of a sudden they lost the recording. They don't know where it is. So whatever the case may be. So just think about what you can do to get those debts down, which is one of the things you can do is negotiate with the credit card companies. You got to communicate. So you can do certain things like debt consolidation. But the only thing about debt consolidation is this. You have to find a company that are actually paying your creditors. Not that you pay them, they pay the creditors and then you pay them back. No, that's not going to help clean up your credit. It's still going to show up as collections, charge offs, all of that. It doesn't matter if you get into a credit consolidation or not. It's still going to show up negative. So you need to make sure if you're thinking about credit consolidation is better than bankruptcy, but you need to make sure that credit card company, the credit consolidation company is actually paying your creditors and not them paying you paying them back, because they paid it off. That does not help your credit at all. So make sure you see a credit counselor. They have debt relief programs and different other things. So there's always a drawback to something. So here we go. A lot of times when you negotiate your settlement can significantly drop your credit score. Depending on what marks they put on there, That's why you got to have it in writing. So when you go call them and you're negotiating because you need to do something quickly within the next 30 days, you need to make sure that you put in writing, I'm going to pay this amount to such and such credit card, and the payment will be made such and such date, and I do not uh, there should not be any negative remarks on my credit report stating settlement, consolidation, or what's the other one? Can't think of it right now. It's on the tip of my tongue. But you don't want no negative marks associated with that debt, because any negative mark is still going to drop your credit score. So you need to make sure that if you're negotiating with the credit card companies, you need to make sure that you get it in writing what the payment plan is, by what date, and that they are not going to put any negative marks on your credit report based on that. And also, if you have credit card debt, it can be treated as taxable income. If you didn't know that, if the total debt is forgiven is $600 or more, the lender will give you a Form 1099-C, and the cancellation of the debt to use for your personal tax filings. So don't try to avoid it. Put it in there. Hi, mommy. My mommy is on. I don't know you. We have to talk first before you get on my video. But my mommy is watching, y'all. But yeah, so that's a way, you can negotiate with the credit card companies. And also, if you have it where you can pay for and pay extra for like the debt relief, because some of the credit card companies that have debt relief attached to your account. So if something happens, you got a hardship, you lose your job, death, or whatever, if they have that attached to that, that is so beneficial to get that with your credit card company, because you never know what's going to happen. So you need to make sure that if they offer you a hardship, like if they say, hey, do you want to pay extra for, if something happens to you, lose your job, like that'll help pay your credit card bill while you're going through that situation. Or if you in death, it'll pay it off. But if you have good life insurance, it'll already be paid off too. So you just got to choose what you want to do. But I'm gonna get back to flat ironing my hair. As you can see, it's it's about that time. But I just want to come on and give you those tips because, I'm responsible to my audience, and I have to go. This is day 9 of 21 of going live every day. So I'm trying to make sure I keep up with it and make sure that I do it. And I appreciate everybody for watching. If you want to reach out to me, have any questions, my digital card is attached to my Facebook Live, and then you can click on my link in my Instagram to if you have any questions about anything, you want credit counseling or whatever the case may be. If you need some of my services, anybody looking to buy or sell in Memphis, I would love to help and show them those best neighborhoods that live in Memphis and the surrounding areas. And I'm also a commercial loan broker, so if you anybody looking to invest in real estate or any commercial projects, I would love to help them as well. So that is my spiel. I'll make sure I take care of those letters tomorrow. Okay, make sure. And I'm about to get back to wrapping doing something with this hair. Somebody gonna come help me? I need some help.
I'll help you.
No.
Why are you so mean?
But yeah, that's my daughter. She can't flat iron my hair. But I thank y'all for tuning in, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Love you. Really sorry.
I'm choking. I almost fell. I can't.